Hello, this is Glenda, and today I will be making a wine soap. And by wine, it's really just the fragrance that is wine. Here I have the lye that also has goat's milk, and you can see how some of the fats of the milk have, I guess the lye has super fatted them, or no, not super fatted, but last time I drained this, and it took a long time. So I'm not gonna do that this time. I'm just gonna pour it. And actually I'm going to put the stick blender in so that I can pour it into it. This container is really high, so it's causing me to create splashes. So I'm gonna, let's see, pour it on the shaft. That way it doesn't splash over, and thus reduce the chance of burns. So I believe I have reached emulsification. Let me clean this. And I'm going to divide this in half. Because of the way that I'm going to be coloring this batch, I need to be very specific when I divide it. So I need to be very exact. I need to have 31.95 ounces here. I don't know if they're gonna fit in here. It doesn't look like they will. Nope. I need a bigger container. Alright, I'm going to interrupt the regular audio of this video with my voiceover because something happened that made all this portion unusable, or I guess not needed. Pretty much what I was doing and what you see right now is I was using alkanet infused olive oil, and I had weighed it so that it would be the equivalent of 15% of the oils in half of the mix. And you can see how the alkanet turns green when I blended it, even though it was red just a minute ago. Apparently that's something that alkanet does. Now, the problem was right here when I added fragrance oil. Unbeknown to me, the fragrance oil has a high vanillin content, and it discolored the soap to a point that all of this was futile. It got really dark, so at the end it didn't matter what I did or didn't do. The fragrance is Merlot Wine, I believe, from Bulk Apothecary. And a disadvantage I find from buying things from them is that they don't list the vanillin content, or they don't tell you or warn you what a fragrance will do. However, it's not the end of the world, and I really like the fragrance. I like the smell of grapes. It smells sweet. So I just had to change my expectations of the soap because this is what I was expecting it to look like. And that is not what I got. Except for the wine glass that at the end I decided to ditch that and not overcomplicated it, since I had already spent so much time doing the grapes embeds. I did each one of those by hand and they took a while. I underestimated how long doing those grapes will take. I will use alkanet in the future, that infusion, and hopefully it will go better that next time. Alright, so I think it has hardened some. I just finished putting some of the leftovers here, and the soap is thick enough that I'm able to make this texture on it. The color still looks ugly, there's no denying that, and I did have to step away because I got some of this mix on my arm, and that's the disadvantage of not wearing long sleeves. But it is so hot, even though I have the air conditioner running. So these are the embeds that I'm gonna put, and the plan is to put one on each side. That's why I created that little hill. Alright, I just had an idea, and it's to try to use these bamboo skewers as if they were chopsticks, because I have a lot of it's really hard to put the embeds on the soap with glove fingers. It's just not the same. Okay, so this is the soap close up, and the grapes are really more purple than they look on the screen right now. They're looking a little bit bluish, and those are the leftover ones. So it looks right now very orange and green in the center, and hopefully that will change. We'll find out. The following day, I was cutting it. It was actually the following morning, if I remember correctly, and the soap was very hard. This time, I did not prevent gelling by putting it in the fridge. And what I noticed that happened, and if you see on the knife right there, is that at the very bottom um, of the bar when I was cutting, it will crumble, and that piece will literally come off the soap. So my guess, I'm not sure if this is what really happened, is that because it overheated and it gelled, it just became really hard, faster than usual, to the point that it's crumbling when cut. I did another soap that very same day from the same batch, so it's the same recipe, and I did not have this issue. The other soap actually gave me the opposite issue. It was too soft, even though I had let it sit longer. So it does seem that goat's milk in or fragrance could affect how soon your soap is ready to be cut and whether or not you insulate it. And I didn't insulate either of them. So this is the color of the soap the day it was cut. And the following couple days, it looked like this. It was beginning to get darker. And by the third and fourth day, it was looking like this. So this is my lather test. I noticed that it didn't lather as easily as the Sherlock Holmes soap. And they are both made with the same recipe. So that was odd. Maybe this one will need a little bit more of curing time to perform its best. But with the scrubby, it did become very lathery. Now the important thing is that it will be conditioning, probably more conditioning because of the goat's milk used in this one, and also because of the superfat that is equal to both. So thank you for watching. Until next time, bye.